Hello, welcome back. Last time I got 2 rooms of and then there were none done. That's hard to say. Also, somehow I keep forgetting that this hold is published on Caravelnet. I don't have to go change location if I want to see a demo, unless it's for a room I haven't done before or I want to see my old solution. Is there another way to do this? I really want to see if, like, anybody does anything other than the Briar strategy there. I suspect the answer is no. Just gonna check. No, that's the same. Briar strategy as in blowing up 3 of the Briar roots. Maybe? Nope. Nope. Still happening the same. Alright. That's just the way to do it, apparently. Okay, so this room. I can choose whether to be invisible or not at the start. Bethro, we can't sense you yet, but we know you're here. Blah blah blah, something something. 9 Omplik. Alright. You can see me, why can't you? You're not stunned. Oh, I'm stealthed for some reason. So, right, I have the stealth state, and I don't know why. But for some reason, I have to step on that to start monsters coming toward me. Okay, so what do I do here? Clink. So they all look at orbs. None of those orbs did anything interesting. Even if they did, I had no opportunity to get to them. I want to see something. Before I go here, is this the room I think it is? Yeah, that's this. Okay. That room might take some special preparations to get done. Something a little different from usual. So I can have a staff and I can have an invisibility potion. Once. There's one of these in the room. I think I don't want that. Alright, so, what's the deal here? It's something like, I use the power token to let the Omplik turn and face me. What's my goal in here? So show me why I can't just do this. Presumably there's a conquer token somewhere that I'm not looking at. There are 2. There are 2. Obviously I'm going to want at least one of these tools. I feel like I remember not taking the invisibility potion, but I'm not sure. Targate, again, will not ever open. It's just like this one. It looks like it goes somewhere, but it doesn't actually. There's a Briar mechanism here. We're going to close those doors. When that happens, how do I get to these? That's pits. So those have to turn off. So I need to use both of those orbs. Which means I have to step there. So then this has to be opened by something. This. That's the way in. That doesn't turn off. So anyway, so these orbs I think are supposed to protect me in some way as I go in here disarmed. I get to rearm there. Anyway, Bethro has to walk through here. Optic beams need to... Do they need to do anything? So hang on, if I would just walk through there now, what would happen? No, don't do that. Do this. What would happen is that this would not open. Do I want this? Not really. No, I'd rather that not happen. I think that just means I need to be quick. Alright, so let me borrow an Omplik. Right, so the beams don't hurt me while I'm in stealth state. Well, they don't ever hurt me, but they don't keep me from moving while I'm in stealth state. So I'm going to borrow an Omplik and stick him there. The way they face, I think, ultimately ends up mattering, but I just want to see what my next obstacle is before I go and mess with stuff. This is why I have to retrieve a power token, because I can't bump an orb now and break it, okay? So giving 0 thought to what the Omplik happened to be doing, I somehow did it? Except I'm trapped here. If I could have continued moving, if I could have made one more step, I would have been kind of okay there. Okay. So what, just kill all these guys and then do that? Tell me why that wouldn't work. Or don't, and just let it work and I'll be done with the room already. There we go. Having power tokened has... Okay, so there's shallow water there, which means this is a little bit of work to traverse. It's fine though. Alright, so one oblique there. What's gonna stop me from doing this? Clank, clank. I'm here. I have my sword. Okay. Nothing stops me from doing this. Oh. The room is completely broken. Really? Something's very wrong here. This is not how that was supposed to play out. Okay. Should I just take that as a victory? Yes. Definitely. I'll let another player show me how that was supposed to be done. Possibly past me. That way I don't... What? Was there a seeding beacon somewhere in this room? I totally killed every omplik and left the room. Did I forget to kill one on the winning... I stepped on the conquer token. There are no monsters in the room. Why is it red? No, wait. This is after I re-enter... No, wait. What? There are seeding beacons. This bridge has to be dropped. That's not shallow water. Oh. Got it. Okay, so there's definitely more to that. Okay, so room's not just straight up broken. Seeding beacons. The way that I can think that I've completed a room and walk out of it and then find out I've done no such thing. Alright, so this bridge has to be dropped, which means that thin ice has got to go away. Which means Bithro has to traverse all the way around this entire thing before these briars do a thing? What? So, wait. So I want all the orbs to break? How much time did I have exactly? Here, this will be quicker. Restore to there, back up a bit. How much time did I have? Alright, so when I step here... 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... So in 12 turns... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have to be able to have none of these orbs on there. Alright, so I need to have every omplik break every orb and then stop beaming there. So I think that's what these are for. But isn't that a problem, though? No. Okay, so... Alright. So here's the mechanism. I step here. These briars give me exactly one turn of beams shooting in this direction. So in one turn of beaming, I have to destroy all these orbs. And this is the way in which this puzzle is really weird about... and that's why I want the invisibility potion, so they won't change the way they're facing. Okay, I see how to do it. Right, so this room is weird about, like, evaluation order of omplik looking at an orb and when it cracks and breaks. There's some, like, not exactly bugs, but like kind of undefined behavior here you have to take advantage of. Feels like, I seem to remember I want to park them like here, and you know, in all of these places. 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's an extra. Well, I can maybe just kill the extra. Or maybe he has a job. Let's see. So this goes... Yeah, the only way you're breaking this orb is with this guy, and the only way you're breaking this orb, if you're putting the Omplic in their prescribed places, is with this guy. Okay. So not that one with that, but if somebody's up here, then they can look in that direction, but then I don't actually use the power token for bumping orbs. Okay. So first, let's do the obvious and see what it does. I don't necessarily have to put every Omblic into a holding chamber here. That just seems to be the sort of obvious prescribed place. Also, I am... Okay, so I need one Omblic... So I'm one Omblic short, that's the deal. Right, there are 9 of them. If there were 10, I could fill all of these places exactly. I'm gonna assume this is the one that only gets 1. Let's just see what happens if I do this. Observe. It's still very dark here. I just left a very dark level and came to another semi-dark one. The lighting's pretty cool, but sometimes it's a bit dimmer than I might like. Okay, so I want to become invisible. And then I will want my sword at some point. I don't need it now, but I took it. Alright, so then while invisible, I'll reposition them to look toward the orbs. Or reorient them, rather. I'm not sure how you're gonna work. Yeah, okay, since I do need to step here, and all of this is thin ice over deep water, I can't cross my own path, so I will need to step on every one of these ice tiles. Ah, but if I park you there, you will slide. So maybe this is what's weird about this. When this all opens... No, if I'm invisible, you can't slide. So maybe the invisibility potion is a trap. Let's just see what happens. Just observe. Let's learn something. So, I think that's all the setup I need. Go here. Yeah, so this is weird. Why did the orbs break as they did? Also, no one's looking at this orb. Yeah, so I get just the one turn. Is it turn order dependent? If it were, then Omblic number 1 would first beam this orb and crack it once. Okay, so... when an Omblic looks at a whole row of orbs, the behavior is generally, for each turn, the frontmost cracked orb will turn into a broken orb. If there's a broken orb, that one gets destroyed, and then the cracked orb behind it would get broken. So it would proceed with, like, break a broken orb and get... the beam continues after that one thing. Okay, so now wait a minute. So like a whole row of broken orbs. Let's learn. Learn some stuff. I just tested a thing here. Okay, well I could have used something similar. That's fine. Yeah, whatever. Hi, I'm an Omblic. Sure, you'd be totally trapped behind many orbs. If they're all broken, what happens? They all break all at once. But as I was saying, if they're cracked, then they break like this. Alright. I may come back to this in a moment. Oh boy, it changes my location every single time I do that. Oh shoot, which of these do I want? This one? It's the second one on the list. Okay, so I didn't learn much from that. Does it matter which object goes where? Feels like what matters more is this guy up here. I might be able to, I can definitely skimp on like one here and maybe one here too? I see that there are force arrows there, and I see that no one is looking at either of these orbs, so I think I want an optic here and here, and maybe one here too. If I'm standing here and I'm visible, I wonder which way they face. Let's find out. Alright, it'll be quicker to just restart probably. So I'm gonna not take the potion. Oh yeah, and I get an option. I can put him here and here, or here and here. I'm not sure if their initial orientations are going to end up mattering. I feel like it's pretty high value to... Let me try something. Let's experiment. I do in fact have... Well, the way they're facing now doesn't matter, in theory. Alright, so if I do this... it might. Wait, some stuff went wrong. No one's standing up there. Okay, so, let's say I were invisible. Actually, better yet, let's say I didn't step on a power token. Why are you looking that way? Because you're the one that looks that way. I didn't bring the other one over. Alright, so if I leave you in place, and instead work with you... Again, I don't think their initial orientations matter, because there are various ways to reorient them. But all of those ways involve having stepped on a power token, so if I wanted to avoid that, then I would have to work with how they're oriented now. But so what happens here? Crack. But that second one won't happen. Alright, so just the front two would crack. I need more beams on these. There isn't a... Oh, wait. Can I put an optic there? I think I can. Well, I have none looking in that direction, so I absolutely will have to reorient them, so it doesn't matter which one goes where, then. Alright, so if you go there... And then, you know what, let's look at it just with that. So I can press R to get back to that state. On that checkpoint, just don't step there. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Just so they don't mess with me when I'm doing this, I guess. So I wanted to become invisible. Step on this. Turn you around. And then, no one's standing here still, but that's fine. I can evaluate how this is going. So that breaks, that cracks, and that's all that happens. I need a lot of beams here. Okay, so I can press R that many times. So somebody definitely needs to be standing here. I'm gonna say it's probably ideal to have two there. It sounds like a good idea to me. So this is a lot of work just to shuffle these guys around, which kinda sorta discourages trial and error, but... trial and error is the About the best way I'm going to get anything done here, it feels like. So if two are staring at each other in, like, this row, I want to know what happens. Do these both break? They would. They would have to. They wouldn't have to. I suspect either they'll both break or one will break and another will just be cracked. So do this, reface everybody. Ignore those two I haven't used, they can just sit there. Okay, that was not what I predicted, but that's what happened. So can I use these two in such a way that everything works? I think the answer is no. Let's see, so one can beam two of these. Is that beamable? From there. So I only get two more, and I have 5 orbs to break down. I feel like this omplik was a mistake. Let me just see what happens if I... Whoa. If I sploosh that one in the water. Can I do that from here? Okay, yeah, sure, totally. There we go. So if that one's not there, what happens? Nothing breaks. What? What? Really? Okay, so everything is weird and confusing, huh? That's why this room is the way it is. So if I leave him there... You're number 1. Let's learn something. Does turn order matter? So this is the result I get with that. I think turn order does not matter, but let's get a clear answer to that by replacing number 1 with number 8. This is going to be a pain, but it's possible. Maybe. You know, it'd be a lot easier if I went back to before I stepped on the power token. Whenever that was. There. Alright, so I saw the result from that. If I eliminate you and replace you with number 8, will the result change? I suspect the answer is no. Okay, so now you're number 7 because I eliminated one. Yeah. I don't think this is omplik turn order. I think this is just like spatial evaluation order. Like the order bombs go off in is kind of like this. But let's confirm, or deconfirm. Oops. You, look over here. Okay, it does not matter. I get the exact same results if I replace the earliest turn order with the latest turn order. Okay. That's not definite proof of that. It might be that it's evaluating something different and coming up with the same result just by chance. But I think that does kind of imply that it doesn't really have to do with omplik turn order what the result here is. I don't know what it has to do with. Like, I'd have to read the DROD source code to understand how this works. However, it is easy enough to understand the controls that I have, how I can affect what's going on in the room, even if I don't understand the ultimate effect that's going to have. Do I want this omplik here looking there? Without you, nothing breaks. But there are others I can put in places. Let's try one here and see what that does. Okay. Okay, well, hey, all the orbs are gone. I think I did it. didn't really exactly puzzle that out, but it worked. I'll take it, I guess. All right. Sword, please. Yeah. I mean, I don't need a sword, but it's more satisfying to use a sword. There. Oops. I haven't stepped on the conquer tokens yet. I'm doing this the slow way for demo purposes. That's fine. I'm pretty safe from these guys. I don't have to... Wait a minute. Okay, no, I'm fine. I just have to do this. Oh. Oh, check it out. Those orbs are vulnerable. I see. I haven't solved this at all. So I'm too aggressive here. Wait, what? Oh no, so I have to save these orbs. I have to use some kind of magic to ensure that those beams don't make it all the way down there? Really? There are alternatives to this. How would this do if those were standing on the pressure plate, but not actually facing that way? All the orbs stay around pretty much. It is baffling that the presence of those two causes this one to fully break. Alright, so I think what this is basically telling me is that, yeah, if these orbs are gone, then those will definitely crack further. So I cannot have anyone here looking south, I'm pretty sure, if my requirement is also that all of these must disappear in a single turn. So I think what this means is that I basically have to... So I get 9 Omplik, but I essentially get 8 because I have to sacrifice one here and face it away from all the action. So, wait a second. Okay, no, the shallow water and all the other geometry prevents me from just, like, shoving this guy around and getting him to pre-crack those orbs there. They're protected by this, right? Wait. No, there's a sneaky angle I can do that from. Oh. Okay, well that helps. This might be a break. Oh, wait, well, okay, it's just your friend that's in the way. Wait, no, I miscalculated. How did I do that? I checked that diagonal twice, and both times it came up with this is in line with that. Both times I was wrong, okay. So I'm bad at following diagonal lines, apparently. Yeah, so these are all protected from any influence from these guys currently. So I have to do it this way. Alright, so anyway, gonna sacrifice this dude. So you will not be involved in orb cracking, you're just a pressure plate holder. That's all you do. Because somebody's gotta hold this, and it can't be B-throw. And the only other movable tools I have are Omplik. So with all the rest of these, I have to somehow, without looking from here down to there, break all of those. Like, that'd be the nice and easy way to do it, because they're all in a big line here. But I'm gonna have to do it the hard way. Alright, what does that mean? I probably need to use the diagonals then, so I get 8. Alright, let me learn... I mean... Evaluation order means that I can't actually predict what's going to happen here. I kind of just have to try it. Let me find out what would happen if I did this. Probably not what I want, but why? What would actually happen? This being fill up all those spaces, and the same one on the other side, the equivalent one on the other side, and ignore the diagonals completely. Obviously this won't work, but in what specific way will it not work? I want to know. Alright, you're... Whoa! What did you look at? That... Ooh, that orb is vulnerable. Okay, so I gotta be careful with that one, as it turns out. So I guess the most reasonable way to deal with that is to turn you around the other way. Alright. So I feel like I kinda could have predicted that. So that means I definitely need the diags. So in a way, I want an Omtlik to face as many orbs as I can get them to face. So I can get 4 on this row twice. I can get 3 on this diagonal. I can get 3 on this diagonal. And then just 2 here. Don't really have a real good theory about what exactly I want to do here. Alright, but I have one thing I'm gonna try, so... yeah, let's speed this up a bit. Alright, so here's the working theory for this setup. I've aimed the Omtliks at as many orbs as they can be aimed at, so I got this one looking this way, this one looking this way, these 2 aimed at the diagonals that hit 3, these 2 manning the ones that are hardest to hit, so each one of these orbs has an Omtlik on it, and then these 2 rows have 1 each. Let's see what happens. That happens. Okay. So horizontal looking that way will not work because it leaves those remnants behind. And yeah, if I take the time to do this, those briars close me in, and I don't get the opportunity to go that way. Alright, so... there isn't a way I can get more beams on these orbs without involving you, is there? Oh boy, this makes all the beams here makes this even harder to... Okay, so there's a lighting cue. There is. I can use these. Or better... there's little to no reason I would ever put an Omtlik here, because they would look at exactly 1 orb. Unless I wanted to prevent some from getting cracked somehow, but I don't want that. Alright, so it looks like maybe I can move these 2 to those 2 spots, and they would get at least as much benefit. Okay? Alright, here's the setup. My prediction is these 2 are going to be wrong, and they'll probably want to be in a diagonal spot, but it's still hard to resist having them look at so many orbs there. So yeah, I basically just moved the ones that were here and here to here and here, so that they would look at the same orbs, these, but also be looking at them from a different angle. This orb didn't even get... What?! Oh, that's some nonsense! This didn't even get cracked! Well, it's cracked. It didn't even get broken. Why? Okay, so that's where things get really weird. In a perfectly symmetric pattern, well, almost perfectly, this happens. Huh. Okay, well, that wasn't it. So out of curiosity, following on up on what I said before, moving these 2 up to those spots, let's just see what this does. Way worse. Okay, so that doesn't break much at all. Still doesn't crack this one further. So I guess basically what's happening is your beam is hitting this orb and cracking it. I'm using the word cracked to mean change from this state to this state, and I'm using the word break to mean change from this state to the gone state, even though that's one state past where what these are actually named. But it's just what makes the most sense, I think. So anyway, you use up the evaluation of this beam on that. Then sometime later, this beam gets evaluated and fully breaks that orb, getting it out of there. Could I infer this is top to bottom, left to right? So like this beam is evaluated, then this one, then this one, does what I said there, cracks but leaves the broken orb in place. Then this one, cracks but leaves it in place. No, I cannot, because this gets cracked further. Unless it is Omplic turn order? I hope it's not. That would be horrible. This is a turn order level, though. Let's come up with a test for this. Let me find out... Okay, I can definitely test this. Alright, let's learn something. Alright, so here's my test. Ignore the extra beams, I didn't want to bother killing all the dudes. So this is Omplic number 1. This is Omplic number 9. You're going to look this way. If it is in Omplic order, then you will crack this orb, and this one will remain untouched. After that, you will break this orb and crack this orb. B-throw? There you are. Instead, something seemingly impossible happens. So it's as if they're all evaluated at once. Okay, so it's not understandable as Omplic turn order. These both got stage 2 cracked. What? So maybe the orbs evaluate which beams are looking at them rather than Omplic looking at the orbs? Well, that's really not a result I expected. Let's try it from right to left and see how it changes. Alright, this is DROD science, so I got a mirror image of what I had before, or at least something closely equivalent. Omplic number 2, Omplic number 9. So earlier mover is here, later mover is there. Is that the setup I had before there? I forget if I had 1 and 9 or 1 and 9 this way? I don't know. Same result. So it mirrors that way. Well, this tells me nothing. Alright, further experimentation time. So I have all the diagonals here. This covers every square. Okay, so I figured out what these arrows are about. These are, the green arrows are indications of what comes from there and there. Red arrows come from here. Blue arrows come from here. So this is not like a guide to show me, hey, put beams this way. It's just like, if you put an Omplic here, that's where the beam's gonna go. Anyway, so with all the diagonals, that covers every orb except this one. And I face 2 Omplic at this row. Let's see what happens. Terrible things, nothing good. Alright, so that is definitely not what I want. This orb has only 1 Omplic looking at it, yeah, and nobody's looking at the orb that would need to disappear for you to hit that orb and break it. So maybe a way to think about this is that every orb needs at least 2 Omplic looking at it. Maybe, I don't know. Man, what a garbage puzzle this is. It's just like, hey, this thing that's undocumented in the game, and not really particularly discoverable, is the main mechanic you have to use to get this room done. Good luck! Hey, look, it's the level editor. So, okay, so I proved that Omplic turn order does in fact make a difference. This is the result like this. This is Omplic number 8, this is Omplic number 7. If I delete and replace you... Now this is Omplic number 7, this is Omplic number 8, and I get a different result. So fantastic. Turn order does affect things. Okay, so not only do I have to find some weird unintuitive pattern here, but it does matter what the turn order is. Alright, so this... I mean, I should expect that for this level. This is entirely a turn order level. Alright, so just because a formation doesn't do what I want doesn't mean it's the wrong formation. It might just mean the order is wrong. Great. So I'm slowly getting a handle on this. It's definitely an Omplic turn order, and it seems almost like... It kind of sort of makes sense. It's almost like each Omplic can shoot 2 beams on their turn, and, well, anyway, this pattern works. It does involve these 2 up here. It uses all 9, but these orbs don't take any damage. So the order is just, it's sort of clockwise here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then once you get here, you go upward. I could not explain in words why that works, but it was semi-intuitive when I set it up. It kind of made sense. Okay, so let's see if we can actually go through this. Let's evaluate what's happening. Omplic number 1. Here, let me do it this way. So I'll copy this just so that I have a thing I can point at and do things. So Omplic number 1 takes his action. He beams this orb. So that is now cracked. Omplic number 2 takes his action. He breaks this orb and cracks this one. Number 3 takes his action and cracks that. Number 4 does this. Number 5 is you. You do that. Number 6, yeah, see, this doesn't work, does it? Number 6 does that. Number 7 does this. Number 8 does this. Number 9 does this. So this is the result I would expect if each Omplic took their turn once. But it's almost like they get a second beam that doesn't get spent until... Well, you know... So, like, if I just have these two, the result I end up with is this one. So they're obviously not just beaming once, because the result, the only way that would make sense if they just beam once is either this, and then that, or this, and then that. Like, there's no way for both of these to crack if each Omplic only beams once, if they're evaluated in turn. So what does it do? Does it do it twice? And I don't know, like, the reason that these don't get damaged in this order is because these earlier Omplics, neither of these orbs get touched by anyone until after you have spent all of your beams, however the heck many you have, cracking orbs up here. You know what, let's stop thinking about this. Alright, so I want... From the left, row of 4. From the left diagonal, row of 3. From the top, from the right diagonal, row of 3. Bottom 2, second from bottom 2. This weird guy who only aims at 1. And then this guy who aims at those 2. Okay. Alright, so theoretically this is the setup. We have 1, 2... 3, 4, 5, I think, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where's B-Throw? There he is. Boom. These orbs did not take any damage. I got beamed. I guess I can avoid that by doing this. So that's fine. Okay, well, it worked. Like, after I played with this for long enough in the editor, I kinda got a feel for it, but again, I can't really put it into words exactly how it works. But some deep part of my brain sort of understands how to think about this now. Let's hope no one else ever uses that in a puzzle, because, again, this is really a garbage room. Yeah, this is not a thing to build a puzzle about. But someone did it, and this is the result. Alright, I got it done. Cool. Seeding beacons are gone, room is actually clear, there we go. Okay, hey look, I got a first place. Good for me. By how much? A lot. But that's not very optimized. Oh well, I'll take it anyway. Just because I had a very specific plan. I could definitely trim down those moves if I wanted to keep that first place, but who even cares about that? I'm sure there are different ways to do this. Sure, let's look at some. Why not? Wish I could just like skip ahead in this, because you're gonna have to watch like all this setup. This is already obviously quite different. I want to see, the thing I'm most interested in here is whether you use any of the north Omplics facing south. Yeah, this is very different. Wait, you put nobody on that. What? I guess you're gonna do it now. Okay. What did you just... Oh, no, you're breaking the room. I see. You're not using this mechanism because, oh, there's a sneaky spot where you can hit an orb because it's not covered by a door. Alright, well, that's a way. Okay, so you actually just shoved that down the pit. Right there. It went in the pit. Okay. So he was on it for a moment because that's an open, that's not a toggle. You don't have to actually keep them there. Okay. Well, that's a way. Alright, so I guess that's probably the break that I'd heard about in this room. Anyway, yeah, many ways to do this. That was the way I came up with. Alright. Well, I'll see you next time for this room. This one's actually pretty cool. It's going to require some out of DROD puzzling to get it done, but I actually enjoyed that process, so I'll enjoy doing it again. I'll see you then for this.